Was the crash out worth it, or were you just overwhelmed and upset because you were never taught on how to articulate your emotions and your feelings? Welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist at Guidance, and that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, of course, because there is no right or wrong way to react and respond and to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates, as well as leave the rest, and grab your pen and your paper and be prepared to take notes. Now, of course, disclaimer before we get into today's video: if you are in danger, seek assistance by calling 911 and any type of mental health hotlines, as well as making sure that you are in a safe environment and that you are finding safety with assistance. Now, because there is no right or wrong way to learn how to react and respond, this is something that you have to practice. In this video, we are going to go over the 5 main recommendations on how you must learn how to control your angers and your emotions. Until you realize that you are in control of your emotions psychologically, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, subconsciously, consciously, doctorally, one band, one sound, you are constantly going to crash out. You're constantly going to be easily offended when it comes to yourself and people and places and things. Now, because we are only responsible for ourselves, this is why it's really important to identify how you feel. We're going to talk about the people who do things to us, because I know someone's going to say, well, people did this, and been there, done that. The first thing we have to do before we get into that and the nit and the grit and all the tea is asking ourselves, when we crash out, how does it make us feel? Now, of course, there's no right or wrong way to answer this question. This is on your notes that you should be taking, as well as in the comment section down below. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. This is a mental health channel. I am a naturopathic physician. Nobody's going to judge you, because we all have moments where we've thrown tantrums, okay? Some of us more than others, especially when we were not taught and shown. You don't need to be embarrassed. The whole purpose is to transmit this negative energy that we've been feeling and we've been exposed to and turn it into positivity. But how does it make you feel? You have to realize, how does it make you feel? How does it make you feel? And I'm going to let you marinate with that before I give you the second thing. The reason why you need to identify how it makes you feel when you crash out is so therefore you can understand your why. And what I mean by that is, what is causing you to crash out? When you know how something makes you feel, you can identify and internalize and self-reflect on the why. How does it make you feel when people got you effed up? How does it make you feel when you're ready to punch somebody, knock somebody out, scream, cut off your hair, crash, take yourself out, take other people out? How does it make you feel? The second thing we have to work on is, like I said now, the why. Why do you feel like you have to articulate yourself in this way? Why do you feel like you have to react and respond in this way? Once again, this is for you to answer. Speaking from experience, what I've had to realize when it came to me crashing out or me not reacting and responding in a healthy way was because I was not taught how to deal with my emotions when it came to negativity. I am not a negative person. I'm not a perfect person, but I'm not a negative person. So if I've been positive majority of my life, anytime I dealt with negativity, it was unfamiliar. So because it was unfamiliar and I was unaware and was not taught or shown how to express myself in healthy ways, all I did was react and respond in a way and realize long term, this is not how I want to express myself or be perceived, not from external validation, but because even though I wasn't taught and shown certain things, I know it's not in my character and how I was raised. So let me see if I can reframe that. I had 2 parents. I had one parent that was majority the caregiver. They did the best that they could. And because they were not perfect, how they were taught, how to communicate, they ended up passing it down onto me. So I come from a family where I had to break certain generational cycles. Okay? So that's that. I understand. And instead of getting upset with the people who raised me, getting upset with the people who did what they did, and realizing that I did not know certain things, and this is something I had to learn over time. Just take full accountability and responsibility. Because instead of getting upset that we have to break these generational cycles, for a lot of us who come from certain backgrounds, just accepting that, you know what, I didn't know how to express myself in a certain type of way because that wasn't shown in my household, that wasn't shown with my family or my friends or whoever. It is what it is. So that's how I would respond to that. And you have to be vulnerable, you have to be honest when you guys are answering these questions. That's the only way you're going to see results. Because you have a lot of adults who are angry and frustrated because they weren't taught and shown. And if you were taught and shown how to communicate, let us know. We're here to encourage, motivate, and educate one another. The third thing you have to do once you identify how it's making you feel and why you feel the need to react and respond the way you do, I need you to realize if when you crash out, the people and the places and things that you're crashing out are worthy of your time and your energy. And I know it's going to sound like common sense, but common sense is not common. I personally had to realize that people and the places and things who wanted me to get out of my character were not worthy of my time and my energy, because it's like, if you respected me, if you respected yourself, if you cared about me, you would not want that to come out of me. Because everybody has it in them. Let's not act like all of us are Mother Teresa, because we're not. Once again, now some people know how to conduct themselves because they were raised and taught. Congratulations, you're a decent Samaritan. You're a decent human being. You're supposed to be respectful. But everyone doesn't know that. And once you realize that certain people, places, and things do not deserve that from you, the fourth thing you would have to do is separating yourself from them and moving them out of your life. And learning now, how can we learn how to express ourselves? How can we learn how to communicate? How can we learn to come up with solutions? You see, you cannot solve your problem if you don't realize that you feel some type of way, which is going to be the fourth thing before we get into the fifth thing. Accepting the fact that you are angry, you are sad. Now, I know someone's going to be like, well, what happens when people did this to you? Or like you said, my parents projected and deflected. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Everybody has their own trauma. And this is why over here, we're just here to be responsible for ourselves and accountable for ourselves. Because yes, our parents, our grandparents, like I said, if you come from a certain background, they had trauma. It's a generational curse. It's a generational cycle, as people like to say. The chosen one, whatever you want to identify yourself as. Yes, people are going to do things to you who are unhealed, who are not happy, especially if, once again, they weren't taught and shown. People are going to bully people. People are going to make rumors. People are going to lie. People are going to sabotage you, whether it's physically, psychologically, mentally, emotionally, financially. People are going to do things to get you fired. People are going to whisper things to people so people don't associate themselves with you. People are going to make up lies. People are going to do these things because they're immature, they're unhealed, and they don't respect themselves. But once again, instead of giving our time and our anger and our energy into these people, we need to separate ourselves. Now, if you want to be like that, you could be like that. But over here, we don't do that. Now, for me, I was like this for the first maybe 14, 15, or not 14, 15, maybe like, I would say like 13 to 16 years old is when I had moments where how I expressed myself, it wasn't the best way, shape, and form. And then, like I said, as I got older, 17 to like 24, 25, I realized me reacting and responding was based off of the people that I was surrounding myself with. If you know you're not out here causing problems and chaos and confusion and corruption in people's life, it's no reason for you to be hooting and hollering and fighting, and it's no reason. So it's just like, we have to be accountable for ourselves. You are allowed to be angry. You are allowed to be frustrated. But I'm telling you from experience, you have to work on it. Because like I said, there are malicious people in this world who do those things, whether it's subconsciously or consciously, intentional or not. And instead of just constantly losing our mind, losing ourselves, and just getting so worked up, because a lot of times, 99 to 100% of the time, it's never worth it. Now, of course, This doesn't mean that you don't speak up for yourself, but speaking from experience, if you practice this frequency, once again, instead of cursing people out, because I'm not saying sometimes some people don't need to be sat down. I'm not saying that sometimes people don't even need to be tapped. If you know what if you know what I'm saying, if you know, you know. I'm not saying, of course, you just be violent, that you have to fight everyone, but you shouldn't always have to defend yourself. Like, let me know, why do you feel like you should always defend yourself? If people cared about you, would they want you to keep constantly defending yourself? There are some people in this world who are going to misunderstand you. There are going to be some people who are very much so unhealed and problematic. We don't have to judge them, but as you mature, you guys, as a grown adult, it's just like, it's not acceptable. Like I said, it's one thing to be a young child. It's one thing if you weren't taught and shown. And even as an adult, that's cool. But it's just like, once you watch these videos, once you realize that you don't need to be so frustrated, you don't need to be constantly crashing out, we can't continue to do it. So the fifth thing we have to do now is practice this. We have to practice on how can we communicate and articulate ourselves. How can we realize that I'm angry right now? How can we learn how to communicate? How can we learn how to verbalize and express ourselves in healthy ways? So I'm going to give you 3 examples, but I'm letting you know right now, if you are considered to be adult, if you are there mentally, you do need to cut off certain people, because that's going to be the reason why you're crashing out sometimes. It's going to be the people that are closest to you because nobody else knows you. Your mom, your lovers, your friends. You need to cut them off. You need to separate yourself from them. I can speak from experience. I was crashing out based off of the people that I was close to. I don't have to judge them. I don't have to speak down. I don't like I said, I'm not giving it the time of day. I'm just letting you guys know so you can be aware of that. But it's just like, if you're constantly having to argue with people, you need to cut them off. You need to stop talking to them. Now, this doesn't mean that you're not going to have differences with people. This doesn't mean that you're not always going to see eye to eye. But it's just like, it gets to a point. If you're in a relationship with somebody, why are you yelling at them? Why are you cursing at them? Whether it's your significant other, your partner, your spouse, whatever title, label, your situationship, because that's your business. I'm not here to judge you. Do what you do, okay? Respectfully, whether it's your family members, your mother, your father, it doesn't matter. And if they want to sit here and use these titles and these labels like, well, I'm your boss, I'm your mother, I'm your father, it doesn't make it acceptable. That makes it worse. It makes it worse. Say it with me and put it in the comment section. It makes it worse when it's your mom. It makes it worse when it's your dad. It makes it worse when that's your boyfriend. It makes it worse when it's your husband. It makes it worse when it's your kids. It makes it worse when it's somebody that genuinely cares about you. So now, these are going to be the 3 solutions that I need you to start implementing. And that's going to be your homework assignment. The first one, whenever you get upset, I need you to stop, drop, and roll. Not literally, but I need you to pause. I need you to breathe in. I need you to breathe out. And I need you to walk away. Just immediately. If you're somebody that you're quick to fight, I need you to breathe in, breathe out, walk away. And then when you calm down, you separate yourself, you could come back and then explain why you walked away, and let that person or that whatever it is that got you messed up, let them know. I had to remove myself. I had to calm down. I'm ready to speak. And take your time calming down. The second thing, if you are a little bit more mature, a little bit more experienced, and you practice more, the moment you feel like you're going back and forth, same thing, but after you breathe in and you breathe out, I need you to say, I feel upset or I feel angry. And because I feel sad, because I feel angry, I either A, am going to need a moment before I react and respond, or before we continue this conversation or whatever it is, or B, I don't feel like talking right now. We could talk about this later. I need some time to myself. We do have to learn how to communicate, you guys. You do not have to yell this. You do not have to scream this. Once again, if you are yelling and screaming, red flag. Do not turn these red flags into Six Flags and Great Adventures. Start realizing it's a circus and it's lowering your vibration. So what do we say? We breathe in, we breathe out, we walk away. Don't say nothing. Calm down. And if people try to come to you, let them know, I need a moment to calm down. You could speak with bass. You could be stern, because I'm somebody, when I'm serious, very stern. Very stern. Very stern. Or B, you let them know, I'm frustrated, I'm upset, I feel overwhelmed, I need a moment to get my thoughts together. We can have this conversation once I calm down. Or lastly, if you are there, have five, and you've been practicing, you let them know, I'm frustrated, I don't appreciate you doing this. Let them know how you feel. Just say how it is that you feel. Because here's the thing. If this person wants to be in a relationship with you, they're going to listen to understand. They're not going to cut you off. They're not going to gaslight you. They're not going to manipulate you. They're going to support you, and they're going to apologize. And that's the same thing with you. If you're not willing to apologize, you don't need to be here. And if you're not willing to apologize immediately and you want to work on it, make up your mind. Because one thing about me, you guys, the times that I was wrong, I've told everybody that I was sorry. Whether it was to their face, I had to call them, I had to text them, one-on-one, sit down with them, where I told God, ancestors in the universe. But we're not going to sit here and act like I said, nobody makes mistakes and people don't do things. It's nothing wrong with an apology, with changed behavior. Don't keep saying sorry to people and don't change your ways, because you don't want people to say sorry to you and not change your ways. But once you realize that, once again, you taking all this energy, it could be used for other things. If you got to pull up on somebody, why are you with them? That's not love, ladies or gentlemen, or theys and heys and gays and she's and we's and be's and he's. That's not love. That's not respectful. And you have to realize that if you're telling somebody how you feel and they want to gaslight you, or they're not willing to listen to you, or they don't have the emotional intelligence, cut the conversation. Cut the conversation. Same thing with the apology. If they say sorry and they continue to do things over and over again, you have to learn how to remove certain people and places and things. And if you want to be in a relationship with them, if you're meant to be with them and things are not working out right now, like I said, let's self-reflect. Let's do some work. Let's fix ourselves. Let's realize, okay, we have some more practicing to do before we get in these relationships, before we get in these environments. Once we're maybe, I would say 85 to 100% confident in how we can react and respond, and that person is willing to work with you, then you can surround yourself with these people, places, and things. Because I'm gonna tell you from experience, you're gonna sabotage and block relationships and lose certain people, places, and things, all because you don't know how to control your emotions. Excuse me. And I'm speaking from experience. People are not replaceable. Yes, there are multiple people in this world, but you will never meet somebody who is that person ever. It doesn't matter. Yes, people have the same name. Yes, people have the same middle name. Yes, people have the same last name. You will never meet the same person in spirit. People are not replaceable. You will never find another person like you did. You will never have another. You won't. So it's just like, now, if you, like I said, you don't care, you don't need to be here. But for those of you who care, because I know you care, we got to be held accountable. We don't need to be crashing out, especially as you grow older as an adult. Because speaking from experience, it's no point to going to jail. It's no point going to prison. It's no point losing your life. All of that. And like I said, once you realize that certain people want you to lose yourself, or for you to lose certain things, never talk to these people ever again. Never again. Like, so many people, they will never have access to me ever again. I would never even want to speak to them ever again, because it's so degrading. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. Why would you want me to curse you out and yell at you and just act foolish? Like I said, especially as you grow older as an adult. And even, like I said, even when I had my times, you guys, where I was articulating myself and learning how to communicate, I was never disrespectful. Never disrespectful. And if I was, I explained to them. And I separated myself from them. It's only 2 people out of my entire life I've had falling outs with because how I reacted, responded a certain type of way. But those 2 people, if I was to see them right now, if I was to call them right now, it wouldn't be an issue. Because I've apologized to them, I've changed my ways, and I've matured. And recently, within this year, I'm not going to say too much of my business, I spoke to one of those 2 people. I had a conversation with one of those 2 people. So me and one of those 2 people, I'm pretty sure we're in there. We're like this. Everybody else, because that's the thing. People do wrong. You do wrong. It's not about who's right and who's wrong. And if you know you weren't, like I said, just out here sabotaging and doing these things to people, it's okay. There are going to be people in this world who get you the first time. There are going to be people who understand you the first time. You don't need to be having conversations and conversing with people who want to misunderstand you, who do not want to I said that already, who don't want you to be you. Stop surrounding yourself with people who go out their way to do little things. Because once you peep that somebody is a certain type of way, or they have insecurities in whatever it is, internal issues they're dealing with, you need to remove yourself from them. Because I'm telling you, it's never going to end well. Don't worry about getting karma. For those of you, like I said, who've been done dirty, now you just have to be responsible for yourself. Just separate yourself. Let them be who they are. Just literally shoo. Let them stay in the corner by themselves. So I'm gonna end the video with that. If you guys have any questions or topics and concerns, let me know. Out of the 5 recommendations, what works best with you? How often are you going to be practicing? As well as your homework assignment is coming up with solutions on how you can practice not crashing out. So which out of the 3 ways that I recommended for you works best? Or let me know in the comment section down below what you do when you feel overwhelmed, you feel frustrated, or you feel angry. As well as, like I said, seeking personal assistance if you are in danger. Once again, call 911. Make sure that you have somebody that you can find in. If you need a service in a session and you need to have some confidential advice, make sure you guys head to my website. All my social medias and my website will be in the description down below. And as well as seeking a therapist, psychiatrist, going to God, ancestors, the universe. Okay, for those of you who believe, if it resonates, take it. If not, I'm not here to force religion or spirituality. As well as follow me on my Instagram and my TikTok, because you guys, before the end of this month, I'm going to have a special announcement. But make sure you guys are following me on my Instagram and on TikTok, because during the summertime, I will be going live a lot more, answering you guys' questions, comments, concerns. If you guys are not able to afford a session in a service, and DM me if you have, like I said, any questions that I'm not able to answer with your service in your session, until we reach our goal here on YouTube, which I would like to reach at any moment now, because I get a lot of questions. And just, you know, you guys wanting to get to know me as well as me getting to know you, okay? But we're not going to be crashing out for the rest of 2025. We're going to work on ourselves. This is something that you have to practice, though. I've been practicing this for the past, I got to get my calculator, you guys. How old am I? I've been practicing this for the past 12 years. I don't know why I couldn't just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but for the past 12 years, I've been improving my communication skills, as well as dealing with my emotions, and realizing that just because I wasn't taught and shown multiple ways, because I don't want to limit myself and say that I wasn't taught and shown, because I was taught and shown, but I realized as I grow older, the most healthiest way, because you got to see what works for you. Like, what may work for somebody else, like I said, it may not work for you. So I will say that. And not just that, when I was younger, I wasn't around people who were malicious. Like I said, it wasn't until I got older that I was around certain people, places, and things. But that's going to be a different topic for a different video, okay? I love you. Thanks for watching. Peace.